Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and hello everyone. So today we are doing our second group discussion video. So the purpose of today's meetings is we are going to exchange the news gathered for section 1, which is on the worldwide news. So but before we proceed with our discussion, let's introduce ourselves first. So my name is Afif Shafi'i bin Muhammad Puzi, number matric 205784.
My name is Amirul Fidaus bin Basri. My matric number is 2067778.
Hello, my name is Ahmed Babrasi. My number is 0702.
Hello, my name is Ahmed Hanin. My metric number is 209679.
All right, next.
Hello, my name is Ridwan bin Ishaq. My matric number is 210329.
Hello, my name is Ami Shukran Mishariza. My metric number is 207612.
All right, next. All right.
Hi, my name is Siti Farhana and my metric number is 211314.
All right, that's all. But before we start, I'd like to say, Aina maybe have some technical issues, so her voice and camera might be a little bit laggy. But other than that, we're fine to proceed. So let's start with Hanin. What is the news you'd like to share with us?
Okay, so the news I would like to share with us, with all of you today is reported by CNN. It is the Japanese military helicopter crashes at sea with 10 people on board. So basically, as reported on Friday, April 7th, rescuers are searching waters of southern Japan for 10 people on the board of a Japanese military aircraft that apparently crashed into the sea on Thursday. General Yasunori Morishita, Chief of Staff of Japan's Ground Self-Defense Force, also known as GSDF, said searchers had found what appears to be parts of the UH-60JA helicopter in the sea and are continuing to scan the ocean for survivors. If no survivors are found, the crash would be Japan's deadliest military aviation accident since the 1995. The missing troops include 2 pilots, 2 mechanics, 6 passengers, among them Lieutenant General Yushi Sakamoto, a senior GSDF commander, who has been newly appointed to his role on March 30th. The helicopter went missing on Thursday at 3:56 p.m. local time, after disappearing off the radar screens of the coast of Miyako Island in the southern Japanese prefecture of Okinawa.
Stella?
That's the news I would like to share with all of you today.
All right, quite a bleak news, very sad. So let's proceed with Aina. Share your news. Sorry? A bit laggy.
I can share any application on my screen. It's so slow. Now,
Sorry? It's okay. Let's proceed to another person. All right, how about Siti Farhana?
Okay, so the title of the news is Australians advised to avoid crocodile-infested waters after record-breaking Queensland floods. So the website that I refer is edition.com. So at Queensland, Australia has seen record-breaking flooding, with residents of some areas warned against travelling because of large crocodiles sighted in the floodwaters. The flooding caused by heavy rain has been particularly severe in Burketown, which is a small community in the north of the state, about 1,300 miles northwest of the state of capital Brisbane. There are some images show roads and houses submerged. Almost 100 residents had to airlifted to higher ground, according to a report. Floodwaters in Burketown reached record levels, according to Australia's meteorology, on last Tuesday, with the river rising above the previous highest level of 6.78 meters. In a statement on Tuesday, Queensland Police said it is still unsafe for displaced people to return to their homes and further remind residents to limit movement in the floodwater due to unseen hazards. The flooding is expected to ease slowly over the next few days, according to the meteorology, but it's likely to remain above the major flood level of 6 meters. This flooding crisis is just the latest for Australia, which has endured several major floods over the last few years, typically associated with increased rainfall. That's all I would like to share.
All right. Thank you, Siti. Let's go back to Aina.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah. About economic in China during COVID-19 hit all over the world in China. COVID-19 is on the global economy and financial markets. For example, China had a significant reduction in income, a rise in unemployment, and disruption in the transportation, service, and manufacturing industries are among the consequences of the disease mitigation measures that have been implemented in China. It has become clear that governments in China underestimate the risk of rapid COVID-19 spread. International actions are required to not only stay
Right. Is that all? Okay. It's okay. Okay. Let's go to the next person. How about Amirul?
Okay, the news that I want to share is about Japan government survey find 1.5 million living as recluse. So recluse this which means that the some people that want to hidden yourself means maybe because they're stressed or something like that. So I found this article in the News Straits Times published in 4 April 2023. So it stated that nearly 1.5 million working age people in Japan are social recluse, according to the new government survey, with a fifth citing the COVID-19 pandemic as the main reason for their withdrawal. So the poll is Japan's first official comprehensive probe into the prevalence of hikikomori, or we call shut-ins, a phenomenon affecting a broad swathe of society from teen to elderly. Reason for retreating from the country: notoriously conformist and work-focused society range from unemployment to depression or bullying at school or in the workplace. Hikikomori range from people who only go out to shop for grocery or to pursue hobbies, to more extreme case who rarely leave their home at all. The Cabinet Office survey says. So it found that around 2% of the respondents aged between 15 and 64 had withdrawn from society to some extent. Percentage that official estimate amount to 1.46 million people. the most common reason respondents gave their social withdrawal was quitting job in the survey released in Friday. So this was close followed by the pandemic, which was cited as the main reason by 18% of recluse age in 15 years old, between 15 years old until 39 years old, and 20% of those aged 40 years old until 64 years old. Cabinet official coordinator told FAP on Wednesday, it told that it seemed that some people happened to meet our definition of hikikomori because they were discouraged from going outside by COVID, and so end up having less contact with society. So that's all for what I want to share.
All right, thank you, Amirul. So we'll proceed with Fatini. Care to share?
Okay. So can you guys hear my voice?
Yes, we can hear your voice.
So today's topic I'm going to you guys about the issue is about Israel and Palestine conflict. So as most of you know, is that Ramadan is the holy month for Muslim believers grow closer to God. If their houses of prayers is attacked by outsiders, any religious would be upset, right? So the issue of Palestine and the issue of Palestine is complex and contentious, one that has been the subject of intense political debate that media coverage for many years. While there is no one definitive answer as to why news about Palestine may not be covered as extensively worldwide as some other. So, and because of that, I choose the Israel-Palestine issue as our topic for discussion in order to draw many people's eyes to the need for supporting and ending the war between them. So in this article, I read UN Secretary General by images of Israel security forces beating people at the Al-Aqsa Mosque, the spokesman said on Wednesday. So yet the United States expressed concern over the fighting and urged an end to violence and the restoration of peace. Jordan, Egypt, and Germany have expressed concern over this issue. So basically, all of them are protests the terrible acts committed in against the first Qibla of Islam, as we all know, the Mosque of Al-Aqsa, right? So as the Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan mentioned here, putting a hand on Al-Aqsa Mosque and trembling on its sanctity is the red line for us, was seen as a serious subject that should not be concealed. Palestinians and while their situation is complex and there are no easy solutions, there is always hope for the resolution and peace. So at the end of my talk, I hope that this topic was chosen for our news publication to create awareness to society. So that's all from me.
All right, thank you, Fatini. Let's go to Ridwan.
Okay, guys. So my worldwide news is regarding about on the country Russia, which told about how its currency, which is rubles, falls to the lowest value during for a year. So at this moment, the Russian ruble has fallen to its lowest value for a year since shortly after Russia invaded Ukraine. Since if you guys recall that the Ukraine has been invaded by the Russia previously. So the currency slid to 82 rubles against the US dollar on this Friday morning on the Moscow Stock Exchange. Russia has been hit with massive economic sanctions since it began an offensive in Ukraine since February 2022. Early this year, the Russia says its economy had shrunk by lower 2.1% in 2022, which means far less than 50% fall that had been predicted. The ruble currency also slipped by 2% to 90.6 against the Euro Friday morning. So this means that right now, $1 USD is right now equal to 79 ruble, which is quite low. Traders says the fall was linked to several factors, including due to the lower oil price in March, cutting Russian revenue, and the sale of Western businesses in Russia in the wake of emissions. The ruble value has not slunk to this level since April 2022, though it was even lower in the immediate aftermath of the invasion when it fell to 133 rubles per US dollar. That is the one time that this currency rise up to its expectation. Then the currency stabilized in July to reach 50 rubles, but it has weakened again since then. Russia has said it is updating economy as a result of sanctions and that it hopes it has to be completed this process by 2034. That is mean that they are still pursuing whether this currency can be salvaged and returned to the stabilized level. Okay, so that's all for me. Sorry for the camera rigging.
All right, it's okay. All right, let's proceed to Ame.
Okay, so I got the news and I took this news from the BBC from the UK and the CNN from the United States. So from the BBC's, the titling is for about the world economy faces a weakest growth since 1990. So in this news, the head of International Monetary Fund or IMF, Kristalina Georgieva, warned that the global economy is expected to grow at a slower pace in the next 5 years, around 3%. So this is the slowest rate since 1990. So she described that this path is rough and foggy, and it's emphasized the need to cooperation between the countries. So she called for more support for the low-income countries, stating that they require additional support from the wealthier nation. So the IMF is expecting to receive a wave of requests from this country because they want to reconstructing the shock of COVID-19 pandemic, the war in Ukraine, and of course the cost of living that's continue to impact the global economy. So she also stressed that the higher borrowing costs come at a time. So it's weakening the demand for export in low-income countries and warn the risk of poverty and hunger increasing. So for the next news, this is
Ame, only one news per person.
Oh, okay, that's all.
All right, thank you, Ame. So for my part, I would like to present something positive. All right, so there were so many accidents, flooding, war, economic crisis. So I would like to talk something positive. So the thing I want to talk about is the news about 10 new species discovered last year, 2022, from the website Positive News, written by Liz Kimbrough, January 13, 2023. So from the news article, she compiled 10 new species. But I'm only going to touch on us. The first one is it's a new fish named Rose that's found in Maldives, in the ocean of Maldives, by a biologist Ahmad Najib. So the scientific name of that fish is Chairabius philopema, or its more normal name is a Rose veil wrasse, WRASSE. It's a small fish, but very colorful. You guys can Google it. And the second new species that I want to talk about is a tiny owl found in the small island in Africa. The scientific name is Otus bicagila. A new species of scorp's owl. It's a small owl about this size. It's like a midget owl, very small. So the interesting part about this owl is that it doesn't make sound like an owl. It makes sound like an insect. Instead of hoo, it makes sound like zzz, zzz, like that. It more sounds like an insect. So that's all for me, for my part. All right. Okay, now we are going to pick on 2 news. But before we vote, I would like to recap. So from Hanin is about the Japanese military helicopter crash. And from Siti Farana is about flooding. And from Amirul, sorry, from Aina is about economy crisis. Amirul is about hikikomori, social withdrawal about pandemic, right? All right, so then from Fatini is about Palestine and the restoration, about hope, and the news that the Palestine didn't get from the rest of the world. And from Ame is about the economy slow, the lowest income in the country, that the larger country to support the smaller country. And from the Ridwan is about the currency, but the Russian currency fall to the lowest value of their history. So let's take a vote. We go with Amirul. Which one you want to pick? Pick only two that we are going to present in the news that we are going to do. Just say the name if you do not remember. You guys want to vote? If I'm voting for my news because a little bit positive. And another news is about the Palestine from Fatini. How about the others?
Yeah, I
So,
would prefer the Fatini news.
Fatini news. So, all right, Palestine have 2 votes. Ridwan, sorry, Amirul.
I vote Fatini. I vote Fatini news too.
All right, 3 votes. Ame. Oh, Aina also vote for Fatini. All right. Then
I'm gonna vote.
you're going to vote for yourself. All right, nice one. Okay, so the majority vote for the Palestine one. So the second news.
For me, I think I like the news brought by Ridwan because
Ridwan.
I want to see what the Russian government are going their next step in powering up their ruble currency.
All right. Well, how about the others? For the second news. Hanin, Siti.
I think the second news could be the economic growth, as we all know, the world is experiencing an inflation right now. So I think I want to know what happens next and how the world as a whole comes together to decrease the inflation rate.
So to be clear, which one?
The economic growth, I think, by Amir, I think.
By Amirul. All right. So Amirul got 1 vote. Ridwan got 1 vote. How about Fatini? You start voting for yourself.
I think I'm gonna vote for Afif because the
Sorry?
species and insect. It's kind of interesting besides negative news. You know, I think
Sorry?
that's good.
Sorry?
I'm gonna choose Afif news.
Oh, my
because,
news. All right.
At least we learn about new insect and the rest species.
All right. Thank you. How about Siti and Aina?
Okay, for me, I also vote for Afif news because I think I got to learn something new about insects.
All right.
I also vote for
All right. So we have the winner, which is about the first one is from Fatini, and the second one is from me. All right. So I think that's all for today. And Fatini, you need to share the citation properly to the group. Can? From the okay, guys get it. Okay, I think that's all for today. Thank you guys. See you next week on the same date on the next topic. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All
Thank you,
right.
guys.